Yeah, I had someone in Rita, someone that asked me what she couldn't make it. She had to do something with her daughter. So I said, I normally would not record this, but let me show you something real quick. And I'm not going to get into everything because all I'm really doing is imploring you, and I don't do it much anymore. No more imploring either. Um, but these next 2.5 months have always been fruitful for me. Always, they've always been fruitful. And so, and I've known it, I've talked about it in everything I've ever done. The last 4 months of the year are the most important part of the year in terms of doing any type of financing. But the first 2 months of the last 4 months are the most important of the 4 months. How would I know that? Because I've been doing it a long, long time. This is, we're talking strategy now. We're talking being in the right place at the right time. Now, just so you understand, a little shift that I started in my business about a year or so ago, maybe a year and a half ago, away from so much focus on business financing. And the reason I did that is because, business financing, as I always said, you can get business financing from a hot dog salesman. What you should be focusing on is building your list. You should be focused on building your list. And let me put it another way. Some people call it building a list. Look at it like building an audience, because you have to have an audience to sell to. And so the beautiful thing about email marketing is it allows you to create your audience. And how you go about creating your audience, you can do it several ways. Some people do it through ads. Some people do it organically. Some people don't like to do it organically. They think it takes too long, but it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Because, well, just know that building a list is the most important thing, because you have to have an audience. If you have an audience, then you'll make money. If you don't have an audience, because see, most people spend their time learning how to sell something or how to do some financing deal. And that's cool, because you should, but you want to spend the majority of time by far building your list, building your audience of business owners that you can offer your services to. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Because unless you offer the service to somebody, you're not going to make any money. Then what you have to understand is you have to focus on measuring what it is you're actually doing. Because if you're going to be successful at this, because I backed up when I started working for this medical facility doing customer financing for them. Look, today I did 2 testosterone deals for $3,000 each and 1 ED deal for $35.99. That's $9,700 in dollars collected, and got all 3. We had 3 appointments. I closed all 3 of them. And the reason I'm saying that is not to impress you, but to get you to understand customer financing is where it's at. It really is. Because, and to give you a further example, let me try to remember here. Of the 3 that I did today, both of them got approved on the primary financing. We didn't have to do second chance on either one of those. And on the third one, we did it in-house, which is something we don't do much anymore, but we did it in-house. And all 3 of them were, and you know why they weren't, maybe, I don't know, can't say they weren't difficult. To me, they weren't difficult because there's a strong need. See, that's what you need to be focused on. Focus on a firm that has a strong need. Auto repair is a strong need. Dental is a strong need. I saw one today that I've never thought of. I saw one today being utilized by our primary customer financing. I saw an advertisement. I'm not going to get into it, but I saw an advertisement. It was so good. And see, what you probably don't realize about those types of things is when you're part of an organization offering a particular service, I can use that information to sell to another company. And I do it all the time. It doesn't have to be my client. I'm just with the same firm and their name is on it. and that one was medical too. Something I never would have thought. I don't think I've ever discussed it. I just happened to see that I've never discussed it. All right. But let me just show you this. This is interesting. No one purchased this. There's not one person that I know of got this that I'm looking at. Not one person. I'm muting you guys. Not one person picked this up. And I've not talked about it for two reasons. Number one, I'm not going to talk about it much anymore. Recommendations, I'll send stuff out. You'll see it or you don't see it. This one I particularly didn't talk about much because some of the information that's in here is very interesting to the point that I've already started working on a mark. And I say, you know what, if they don't pay attention, they miss this one. Because now these next 2 months are very, very important. But not to belabor the point. Real interesting piece here. I talked to Mike Paul 3 days ago, I think it was, and we went over. We talked about Mike has good stuff. He used to be a banker and so forth. This is a really good piece here. I'm not going to get into all of it, the whole thing here, but what's interesting is, and I have not primarily focused on new businesses for a long time. And quite honestly, when I first saw this, I wasn't going to focus on it then. I wasn't going to focus on it then. But as I went through it and I looked at it and I saw what he was doing and some of the information that he gave in here, which I'm not going to show here because that's part of his information. I'm not going to put it up here. But let me just tell you, I took advantage of it. And I'm not going to talk about things in detail to the level that I'm doing things anymore, other than say, hey, these are things you probably need to pay attention to. This is one of them. And no one has got this. Not one person bought this. And so I'm not going to get into it deep, but I got it. And there's one thing in particular in here that's just been a boon. I mean, it's been an absolute slam dunk. Emails, guaranteed, they good. You ain't got to worry about verifying them because it's 2022 information and it's there. It's there. You know what I mean? And it was a slick idea. And I saw a little quirk in it as well. And I saw some other stuff. And I said, oh man, boom. And I went straight to work. Went straight to work. And it was really, and I really didn't realize it was like that. I really didn't, because I didn't pay much attention to it at first. And he sent it over to me, because he sent me the review copy. I looked at it and I said, wow, okay. Now I got it. I told everybody about it. Nobody's bought it. I'm not even going to really say anything about it because that's just, it just depends on what you're trying to run in your business. I just send stuff out. Now, let me show you something that was cool in here. One of the things that was cool in here, because I've done a little under 5,000 so far this month, just not outside the clinic, just on my own. And half of it, 2,250, came from one deal on a startup loan. Came from a startup loan. All right. And I had a list similar to what he was talking about already. And I took this information real quick. When I first did the information, I took the raw data and I put it together in an email, and then I've got it. I'm doing it, but I'll show you to you real quick. This is it depends on how you see things. To me, right here, whatever this little money he's charging, $27, whatever he's charging for this, that right there makes the whole thing worth it. That right there. In my world, getting a free information that I don't have in a format that I can just utilize and turn around and use it is worth it to me all day. Because it was worth $2,250 to me. I did it. It was worth, and I did get lucky. No time, not about it. I got lucky. Well, the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? I got a list, and I had a list of some startup companies already. I've been working on the list because I remember I told you I've been trying to do some things locally here. So, I've been doing some of that and some other things I've been doing. And it was just a local company here in Mobile. Well, it hasn't been approved yet. I just submitted it. But the commission on it is going to be $2,250 if it goes through. you know, with the dollar amount we're trying to get, 75,000. Looks like he's going to get it. All right, just a 3% commission, nothing deep. But if you look at it, these flyers here, and when I first did it, I just took pretty much just the guts of this, and because, you know, because I have a list and I use Get Response, I can send out stuff really quickly, man. That's why it's important to be able to know how to utilize the tools, because you're really doing something when you're able to utilize the tools quickly. Like you can turn around and send out a message within 2 minutes. Cut and paste it, send it out, have an audience, boom, gone. That's when you know you're really doing something. Really, seriously. Seriously, let me mute you guys. That's serious, because I've been doing this so long that, and I was able to just cut and paste, you know, some of the in fact, I'm gonna show you that, you know, when I first looked at this, I didn't know what red, blue, and green meant. Now I know those are the backgrounds, but I'll just show you one of them, because they're all the same, just different background colors. And this came in that, because I'm not going to show you all other stuff, because that's his personal information in there, because, you know, he's selling that stuff. But anyway, here was one of them. Was this the flyer? Yeah, this is the flyer, because I got a postcard. The postcard's about that short right there. That's why I was confused. I'll show you that in a minute. But here's the flyer. And all I did was I took and put together this flyer from the guts, and then I just went on and sent it out, because I can, you know, I just did it real quick. I mean, I just, you know, cut and paste, straightened it out, and just sent it out as is without this, because I thought the data was so good and the way the format was set up was so good, you know, and so I turned it into an email, and there it is. And there was a $75,000 deal right there. It happened quick too, because I had a list, you know, and I got a list because I'm always, you know, and I don't even focus on loans. I got to admit, I did get lucky, because I mean, finding one like that, you know. But anyway, it was 3 points. But this is a nice little piece. It comes in there. I think this is the red one, and it's got a blue one, the same version. Let me just see. I'm pretty sure it's the same one. Do the same thing, just different color. Yeah, that's the same thing, different color. And then you got a green. I didn't even open up the green, so I know what the green would look like. Because it didn't make a difference to me, because I just took the contents and just ran with the contents real quick. And that's the first time I'm looking at the green one. You know, which don't make a damn difference to me which one it is, what color it is. But this was real cool because, you know, but I really love this one. So you may not realize how important this is, but I can take this information, which is what I'm doing now. I can take this, because I did it with another lending source. See, what I did with this, I put it right in the body of the email. Even though it's a postcard, I don't use it like a postcard. I shoot it, and then I put it right in the email. This is what I did. Just boom, sent it. You know, and you know, because the great thing about this one is I was able to, you can see the flyer. See, I took the guts, and the flyer I didn't do right away because I had to put the number. I couldn't figure out how to do it right away and edit it and all that kind of stuff. So I just took this one, which is the same thing, and I like this even better because it didn't have, you know, basically. I'm serious. I just sent it out. You see, it says yours or your partner's. I didn't bother. I just put my information at the bottom because nobody's been paying attention to that, and shot it and just put it in a picture and send it straight out. That's how fast I did it. And the reason I say it's worth the money to me, because I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to set up the format. I didn't have to put in the context, you know, the content. I didn't have to do none of that. It's already done. That's worth $27 to me right there. And whatever you know what I mean? Just get it and not have to do nothing. Somebody just gave me the idea. I took it, I got a list, and boom. That's why I'm constantly, you know, building lists. I got a list the other day from in here on a site, and I've been working the hell out of that list, man. All the emails is there. And it's 2022. You know, so and I don't have to worry about the verb. I know it's good. I know it's good. And that's important. Super important. Let me see. Was that all I wanted to show? Yeah, then it came. Here's a local startup funding formula brochure, loan brokering for new businesses. All that's in there. And then some other stuff. In fact, you know, and this was not even. This is the download of the brochure, and it's a whole this video and all that kind of stuff. It's real good. I think it's like 14 something like that video. It goes through the whole thing, and that's kind of important because I mean, you know, shit, man. I apologize, but anyway, so that's that. Now, what I did was I've been constantly just working Craigslist and new business lists. But I've been working Craigslist and it's working out really, really well only because I'm constantly doing it. I do it every day when I come home. I do it every day. I'm doing 49 every day. But the difference is where you get the data from. Because see, I'm doing a combination of what I'm getting from Craigslist. And when I got this, I was at work building. The list was so good. I was at work building it. The only thing I haven't done with is what I'm gonna do tomorrow is tonight I'm gonna get my get response because I forget my password because everything's on my computer, so it just pops, goes there automatically. So I gotta actually go in and remember my get response. I haven't had to remember the password, and so that I can do it at work, man. Because we have downtime. Like we did 3 deals today. I did 3 deals and we was off the rest of the day. We just sitting there cooling out. You know what I mean? And so I did $10,000 in fees. $9,700 in fees. And so that's a good day. Company's loving it. The first time they told us how much, we love the work we're doing and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm telling you that customer finance is alive and well because this environment, I don't know if you're paying attention to what's going on. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's going on in the street, but if you've been looking at the news, I'm looking at every day, the market's down to 30,000 from change, primarily because interest rates are going up. And what happens when interest rates go up? Does anybody know? The biggest thing that happens, it affects the housing market. When it affects the housing market, it affects 50, 60 different industries. So when like permits are slowing down now, when permits for new housing slows down, refrigerators and tile and and doorknobs and all that don't get bought. All those industries slow down at the same time when a house is not built because more industries are in a house than just about anything you do. So you got all these industries affected. So when interest rates go up, people start buying houses, and that has happened. And so that's pushed up rental rates because people aren't buying now that they're moving and they're renting. Now, why am I telling you that? Because one of the reasons I focused so heavily on Craigslist is because now if you saw the list of lease purchase homes I'm looking at now, look, I'm looking at it and I can show it to you. I'm not going to go into all that now because I don't want to go into too much of a diversion because I'll go off into this thing. You know what I mean? You know how that is. I'll go off in this 2-hour thing. But if when I look at the listings, I was looking at listings and I was looking at 176 days on market. What? Yeah, man. 176. And see, you can clearly see what's going on in this market. Clearly see what's going on in this market. See, everything is tied together. See, I'm utilizing, and I talked about it in the Craigslist training that I did. I talked about this part. Because what most people don't realize is you're looking at this from one area, which is a good way to look at it. You're looking from the consultant. I'm looking at it from the total. When I started this process, I started working with HVAC companies and companies like that I can get other business from. You see what I mean? Those guys are feeding me real estate deals. I get them as a client because, right now people are trying to find deals. And the thing is, there's always a really good deal. I'm seeing all kinds of deals. I learned a strategy of the day that Little Pink House was doing, and I was talking to Scott the other day, learned the strategy they were using called, it was called, wholesaling is what it's called, but, they're doing for sale by owner flips of expensive houses. And he was talking about the strategy and going through the math of how they were doing it. And see, that's how it's one of the ways I'm finding deals. You're talking, they talking 10 to 30, $40,000 on a deal. Then of course I added into the Craigslist the franchise part, which people aren't paying attention to that either. So it just depends on the most important thing for people to remember is you don't attack all of it. Because if you do that, you won't make any money at all. These are all just offshoots. You may have a different offshoot that goes into insurance or a different offshoot that goes into, some other part of business, but it started with me getting a client. Because see, the real part of this is that the residual income from the customer financing and the one-offs. See what I mean? That's the basis of the whole thing, because you need to have that machine going all the time. All the time. All the time. And just look, let me see if I can, let me see, because I'm getting ready. cancel a subscription that I have. Let's just look at something, show you real quick. Some of y'all probably remember my REI Pro. But I was looking at, I was in my REI Pro, and I found a software that I wanted. This is a really good software, but the point is I can go in here and I can look up, you know, well I'm not gonna get too deep into this because, you know, I go off into this area, really go off into a tangent. But, you know, I've had REI Pro before, but my point is, you know, Mobile County. So if I would look at absentee owners, I just use absentee owners for now. So Mobile County, there's look at that, 31,780 absentee owner homes. Ain't that incredible? Something changing. Let me just call this down a little bit. Well, I could call it down. I'm not gonna go through all that right now. Maybe do one filter. Let's do one filter. We could do I don't know. Let's pull the pre-foreclosures out of there. 18 pre-foreclosures as an example. I mean, I can download that and you know all kinds of stuff. And I can look up the values, you know. This is a good piece of software right here. But you know, because see, maybe everybody doesn't see it this way, but when I look at this, I'm able to do this whole thing sitting in one spot. You know, I can take a business owner, get him on customer finance and get to know him. You know what I mean? We get to talk and talk and talk. That's what I've always done, as opposed to finding a deal with the real estate. That's just another way to go. Or you can go the franchise route, which is another way that I go because I'm a franchise broker. You see what I mean? Because, you know, I'll be looking at some of these business owners and see, all of you can't do certain franchises because certain franchises won't deal with you unless you would have made a firm. But there are some franchises, and I put some of them in a thing that you can do business with them, and, you know, you can make 40% commission. You know, you're talking, you know, I don't know, 10 to 100 G's on it. So, you know, but it starts with having a list of people who you can talk to because you have an audience. But the worst thing you can do, and I'll say this because, you know, what I'm saying sounds exciting and stuff, but the worst thing you can do is not know which direction you're going. And the very first thing you should do is you should spend your time building a quality list, because, you know, a quality list. Some people don't like doing it organically, you know, because it's slower, and it is, you know, but I like building organic lists because, you know, when I'm using an organic list, I'm doing several things with it. You know, when I'm talking about doing M&A, you know, with a private equity firm, the type of list that I'm building, the quality of lists and the email and knowing exactly who it is, you know what I mean, making sure I have the phone number. Because what I've done now in my Get Response, that's what I've been doing. I've gone through with my Get Response now, and I'm putting in all of the information. See, I didn't do that for the first few years. I didn't do that. When I went now, what I'm doing is I'm putting all the information in. You know what I mean? And so, without pulling it up here, you know, because I don't want to go through all that right now. But what I'm doing is I'm pulling the information, because some of the data I'm getting from this new Biz Bonanza, I was able to go in. I was able to get the information of the owner, the email for the owner. I was able to get the name of the company, where the address is, either the home address as well as the other address. And I can decide I'm not going to put both of them in there because I don't really need either one of them. But you know, but I wasn't putting in the name of the company. So I'd have an email, and if the email wasn't, you know, an email that had the company's name in it, I wouldn't even know who it was. So I had to start putting it in there. And so that's what I've been doing. And I was able to get all the information from one of the sites, get all the information from one of them, and do what I need to do. You know, and that's always been and the only reason this was such a big deal is because I've been spending the last 2 months looking at lead sources. You know, I've looked at Lead Valet, I've looked at, you know, Up Lead, I've looked at, you know, all of them work on these credit systems and all that kind of stuff where they, you know, they're yanking money out of your pocket, you know, and you know, I was able to do this and it didn't cost me anything. And then I got another site that I went to. I was able to find out when I didn't have the address, I can look up, with another site, and I can use another tool and find the email, from that. Because I'm trying to because when I'm trying to build an email, a list for M&A or something like that, I need to have really good information. And I'm spending the time now from this point on, because see, when you're working on residual, the foundation of what that I'm doing is the residual part. Everything else feeds from the foundational part. That's why I'm saying you have to have the foundational part done before you reach out and try to do another part, because you got to solidify a relationship, with the person you're dealing with, have the email marketing system going at the same time. You start picking them off, and then you got it. That's why I say, that's why it's important. Some people, let me tell you something. Here's the craziest thing. And I was listening to the barrage of people who are selling things so that you don't have to talk to people. Well, guess what? If you're going to build a system where you're going to have recurring income, it's going to be residual. Because see, here's the key. If you remember, we did a piece with Tom Gaddison and Nick Ponte a little while back when they were talking about outsourcing. And he was showing the numbers of the number of clients that they had to have in order to generate X amount of dollars of revenue. That's what I'm saying here. See, if you look at this transaction and what you're thinking is, which is the wrong way, you say, well, I got to keep getting clients, keep getting clients. No, what you do is you get yourself 75 clients, 100 clients, or whatever it is, and you really don't have to be that number. It has to be based on the number of loans that are being done every month. So if you're doing $200,000, you're doing 200,000 in loans a month, and you're getting 50% of 3.9%, that's 1.95%. So on $200,000, and you get paid twice a month, you mean you go back to that math. So what's that? What, $2,100 or whatever that is? You see what I mean? And so, and then so now that's baked in. So now you got $2,100 coming in. You see what I mean? So if you didn't do anything else and you kept those clients up, that the $2,100 is going to keep coming in. And it's going to go up, because it's very akin to assets under management. That's why I like the customer financing the way it's structured, because it's structured like assets under management. Because see, what your job really should be is, once you've installed it, is to focus on the traffic. Remember the drive growth part, because the drive growth part drives traffic into his place, which makes the cash register ring, which increases your residual, because he's actually doing more loans. That's why that process is the best. Because that one, if you didn't do anything else and all you did was build that, you wouldn't have to do anything else, if that's what your focus was. And that's really what your focus should be. Your focus really should be focusing on building that system, and then getting 200,000 and 300,000 in processing of loans every month amongst a certain number of clients. And so you're talking 300,000 times 1.95%. You see what I mean? So you're talking 5,000. There it is right there. And then you're not doing it all the time. These other things are things you can do, but if you look at it and from the math standpoint, and you know what I mean? So when people talk about not doing things where you have to talk to people, well, if you do it this way, talking to people is always the fastest way to do it. You don't have to do it that way, but it's the fastest way to do it. The reason I'm building the list the way I'm building it and making sure I got the email of the person, who the name of the person is, because I'm gonna call a number. See, because I'm looking at the analytics and I can see them, I get response, and I can see who has the largest amount of interest. So the amount of phone calls that I'm making, I'm not just making them for the hell of it. I'm making it based on levels of interest over a period of time through several campaigns. Follow? I've run 3 or 4 campaigns and this person's name is popping up every time. So now I have a reason to be talking to them, and it's easier because the conversation is, listen, I noticed that you've been opening my emails on this, but I was just trying to talk, give you a call and gauge your level of interest. So now it's a completely different conversation as opposed to a call, because it's not cold. And if you track that, you see what I mean? And so now you only look, so now if you're looking at trying to get 10 clients a month, which is what I've been doing, you're getting 10 clients a month, you know what I mean? Then I'm getting paid, base, and I'm getting paid bonus, and I'm getting paid for this. That's why I'm ramping this up so much. Because you see what I mean? Because just the one consumer financing, and y'all all know, because I talked about this math a lot. But one of the fastest ways to do it is you can do it on Craigslist, but you have a systematic way to go about it. So just to show you what I've done, and most of you have already got this anyway. I'm just going to show you the raw data right here. I've recorded even more information. In fact, let me see here. I did an introduction. I'll just let you listen to this. I did an introduction to this one, and I had to do this one so that people will kind of understand that nobody's ever seen this. So you guys listen to this for the first time. Hey guys. That thing work. Okay. Hey guys, this is the Craigslist workshop, the Forgotten Gold Mine. My name is Gregory Evans. I'm the instructor, the creator of this program. A little bit about me. This one? Get right into nope, this ain't it. I'm a business growth advisor. Of course, I do consulting. What's this one? Look, I had it over here for some reason. It didn't pop up. I specialize in franchise sales and resales and M&A. I've got over 30 years of experience. That's not very much. There was this one over here. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Cut that noise. I got some noise. Thank you. Hey guys, this is the Craigslist workshop. I'm messing this up again. My name is Gregory Evans. I'm the instructor. I think I am messing this up again. Program. I'm trying to pull this one out. Let me just say. Let me pull this thing up here. Sorry about this, folks. Let me pull it out, and you'll see what I did was what I did was I had to isolate so where people get a better understanding what I think I called it tools. Let's see. It's this one. Make sure I got it right. Yes, this one right here. Yes, this one. All right, this one. Hey guys, this is the Craigslist workshop. I hope this is the right one. My name is Gregory Evans. Experience yeah, this is it. Sorry about that. It's the right one. I specialize in franchise sales and resales and M&A. I've got over 30 years of experience in the business. So let's step back for a minute as we get into this Craigslist, the gold mine opportunity that's available, and the part that you're playing here. Essentially, what you got here is a program where you can go after business on Craigslist, develop a good relationship with them, grow an income, a recurring income stream. You can do repeatable business as well. We'll get into all of those things. But you're doing it under the auspices of an online business consultant, And so it's important to understand why online. And you can go see clients. There's nothing wrong with that. But, I got involved with doing online prior to the pandemic, maybe a year and a half or so. I started doing Zoom, things of that nature. So I've been doing Zoom for a while now. And during that period of time, during the pandemic, I knew it. We're not going through all that. What I wanted to basically show is that what you're actually doing here is you're doing, and this goes back to what I was talking about, to accelerate your cash flow. All you're doing is designing services that accelerate the company's cash flow. That's what they're excited about. You're going to accelerate my cash flow. See, if you're thinking about it in terms of most salespeople, they're thinking about what it is that they're selling that they can make money on. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying, but what are you doing for the client until you can explain to him what you're going to be doing for him? And so what I'm doing is I'm helping you accelerate the cash flow of your business. And because I'm a business broker, when I accelerate the cash flow, that's going to increase the cash flow, which is going to increase the multiple of the company, which, of course, is what the whole thing is about. But the point is, getting there, 3,000 to 5,000 is not hard. And you can do that on Craigslist pretty simple. You really can. You find one deal on Craigslist, because see, the thing about Craigslist is fluid. You're going to have existing business as well as new business. You don't know which one is which. That's why startup loans work real well. Things like that, customer financing, and you don't have to get a lot of clients. And these are not the biggest clients, but it is a nice base to be able to get a good income going off a simple base of clients. And that's all you're trying to do here. Because again, This is not one of those things where I'm trying to transactionally just keep doing finding clients. No, man, what I'm doing is I'm building up a residual income so I don't have to keep getting new clients. You see what I mean? And so if I'm doing it properly, and if I'm doing a service that business owners have to have, and I'm seeing it every day, because people are still doing consulting. People are still doing customer financing every day. I'm doing it every day. I'm doing it every day. I think so far we've done $59,000 in fees, up to the 20th of the month, which means that we'll do over 100 this month, which will be twice what we did last month. And a lot of that's customer financing. Think about that. And a lot of that's second chance. A lot of that second chance. You know what I mean? But it starts with a critical service, you know what I mean? Like, something that people gotta have. So, and that's why I say, you'd be surprised, man, how many people are not offering. And how many people want a second chance, and that's the real key. How many of them because look, the same way that people talk about websites, they need an upgraded website, same thing with customer financing. A person that has customer financing, what they do not have second chance financing. They don't have second chance. I do a lot of second chance financing, because if the person gets approved on the primary financing, they don't have to come up with any money. On the second chance financing, if they get turned down, then they have to come up with a payment, but they still get approved. So and that's secondary financing, just that fast. And so, what's the name that we deal with? Their second chance lender. It's a big business, because what you don't realize, the same way we're talking about website, people need to upgrade their website. Most people only have one primary source of customer financing. If the person gets turned down, they do not have a second chance lender. They don't have, and you got to have both. I'm working in a clinic where we got them side by side, two different companies. You know what I mean? And it's all online. There's nothing to it. You go from one, we find out whether they got approved, they didn't get approved, we go straight to the other one, boom, we know what we got to do, go straight in the room, they sign, sold. It happens that fast. And that's a big business. And you got a residual income coming from that. I get bonuses, but I'm getting residual income from this too. So that's really what this is about. And quite honestly, but that's it. I didn't want to get into this whole thing, the Craigslist program. I had a couple of more things too, but most of the things that I've added, for most of you, we've already got it. Not everybody has, if you've been around me long enough, there's nothing in this particular program that you don't already have. For those of you who've been around, there's nothing. It's just a question of you going to find it. Because there's nothing new here, maybe for the newer people, but for the people who've been around long enough, this is not new. The other thing that I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't know if you did, it was a seminar the other day with Thrive, and they did a leads training program. I don't know if you was in on that, so that leads training. They got an entire leads program for business owners now that drive leads to them. I've never seen anything like it. I'm not sure there's other companies do it. It's a hell of a system. I don't know if you saw it. It was a 49-minute training and stuff like that. I recorded it, and it's in the Craigslist. But if you're in Thrive, you should already have it. You should already have it. If you don't, all you do is call in, and what's the name? She'll give it to you. All right, guys, I appreciate it. If you want to get the Craigslist, I don't know. Let me see who's on here. There's only a few people on here, so let me just see who it is real quick, because most of you already know. Darren, how you doing? I don't know who VH is, but everybody else, Caleb, everybody else already has this, and so there's nothing in here. The only thing that's happening, and nobody got this. I know this. Nobody got this. And I'm not going to get into it, because if you don't have it, you just don't have it. You know what I mean? And I got, I'm not even going to show my get response, man. So I don't want to show none of it, because I got it. It really is. And I'm not going to get into that. Just if you don't have it, you don't have it. But I was able to get all the leads from, it's a good system. It really is a good system. And I've been building it out like crazy. Oh, I didn't show this last part. That was the postcard that I showed. I guess this is the business card. That's a slick business card. That's a nice business card. came in there. I've thought about that myself because I don't even use business cards. But that's one I'd like right there. That's a real good one right there. I really like that. I'm not even into business cards no more. I mean, but what I did tell people in last business card I had, and I did this Sunbelt, I did this right here. See, most people, it's crazy. You got your card on the back is blank. I never had a card on the back. Even at the Sunbelt, when I did it, they started doing it. You got to put the thing on the back. You got advertising space back there. So look, 1 day approvals and quotes funding in fastest 3 days, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So that I thought that, and you got all of that and that's just a small part of it. Was there the flyers, because all I did is took it and put it right in the middle of my email. That's why I'm getting off of this. But let me tell you what, being able to build a list, and I'm always going to probably, but also, what else did I get? I got another program too, and I'm going to get into that. But it was a whole other program on building workbooks and that kind of stuff. This guy's been selling these $5 workbooks and made over $100,000 selling $5 workbooks. I brought his program the other day for $5. I'm like, wow, man. He was talking about how he sold. And he's a smart guy, man. It's $5 workbooks. And he was just showing, the traffic he was doing, everything, And he was talking about how you have to, he said you want to be selling at least 1 to 2,000 of them. I said, wow, man. My whole mindset been changed in the last couple of months and how I approached this whole thing. But this was worth it, because we're in the marketing business, man. We're in the marketing business. And we're in the leads business and the marketing business. And so I like doing organic. Because and the only reason I care about the organic is because the organic leads to better M&A deals. You see what I mean? Because I'm working with John on a deal. And when I'm dealing with that in particular, that's what's driving me to, I got to know who the company name, I got to know the basic information, I got to know, everything. And so I was able, that's really important. Plus, when I was sending my information out, when I was getting responses, I wasn't able to go back because I didn't put all the data in. Now, when I do it, when I put in my get response and see, here's the other thing. See, think about it. If you have a landing page and you don't have all that data in there that the guy's going to give you in terms of name, address, but a lot of stuff he's not going to give you. So much so that people, try to, that's why you see so many landing pages that just have the name and the telephone number or something like that, because they know that people don't want to sit there and write all the information in. But the thing is, when I'm trying to do a deal where involve the business owner, I'm trying to do an exit plan or something like that, then it's different. I need to be able to, I didn't even know who the guy was. See, if I'm doing a loan, maybe I don't care. But if I'm doing something more, substantial, I got to have all the information. And so if I ran an ad and the information came in, I still may not only have, I still may only have the guy's email, maybe his first name. I don't know nothing else. I don't even know if it's a company because I didn't ask for it. And you know what I mean? And so going in this way, I was able to get the information. I get the name of the company. I got the information. I know where they're located, because there was another thing. I didn't know where they were located. And I broke it down by where they were located, what state they were in, stuff like that. And because I hadn't been doing that, because if I get ready to do a call and I got responding and I'm doing a retargeting, I need to be able to put that information right away. Think about it. If I'm doing a deal like I'm doing with John on exit strategy, and we're talking a nice piece of change, I can't not be able to call the guy because I didn't write his email. I got his email. That's all I got. Ain't that kind of? I'm trying to email him. Yo, man, can you tell me who you are? Because I didn't have all the data in there. I didn't even know the name of the company. So now I'm meticulously putting that in. See, because I'm controlling my list now, as opposed to I'm doing it organically. Doesn't mean I won't do ads, and I am going to probably do that. But at the same time, the organic part is much more important when I'm trying to get a bigger sale. Like an M&A deal, I'm going to do a franchise deal or something like that. It's important. When you're talking about a $14,000 fee or a $30,000 fee, you don't want to be messed up just because you couldn't find the guy's name of his company because it wasn't in the email. His email address. And I had a lot of those. So I had to stop that. I stopped that practice cold. And what was beautiful thing about this is I was able to get, some really good data. And you know, even if I want to do turn around and go after all the different, and that's what I'm gonna do. Go back and look at all the categories, because if I want to go after the tax deal, you know, I know what type of industries. Go in there, look up the industries, and just pull them down and start doing it that way. You know, because see, the reason I like the 49 every day, because the 49 is what I can follow up on. You know what I mean? Like the other day, I did a particular industry, and I did 49 of them, and I sent a campaign to that particular industry, those 49, and that's enough for me to not get a response. And that response that I get from that out of 49, you know, and I do that, and then out of 49, I may get 12 people that clicked on, and I can contact those 12. I don't need nobody to call them. I can contact them. I can pick up the phone at lunchtime, leave a voicemail. You see what I mean? But the thing is, I know everything about the company though. I know who the owner is. I got the right email. I know he got it. I got all that. I know he responded. You see what I mean? And so I don't want to take the chance of a guy. And all I have to do now, that what I don't have is with his revenues and stuff like that. I can probably cross-reference against LinkedIn and get some of this information, you know, if I wanted to. But the point is, I got a high quality lead, and because I got a high quality lead, it could lead to a bigger sale, a bigger loan, a bigger M&A deal. It could lead to anything like that. In this particular case, I was looking at new companies, you know, and when I was looking at new companies, I saw some existing companies. That was a beautiful thing. By date, you know what I mean? And so I just took the startup thing and stuck it in there. And I got lucky, no question about it. I mean, I don't know if this guy's gonna get approved. It looks like he's gonna get approved. You know, but that one's 3% commission on 75,000. You know, because I contacted Mike Paul 4 days ago. And I went straight, because again, now that I'm not doing all this training and all this stuff, now when I see something, I go straight to work on it immediately, which is what I did. All I did is just copy that thing, put it right in there, put it straight in the email, send it right to my email list. I got 1,700 now on just the business owners. It's not as big as probably some lists, but the thing is, I know everybody in there. I put everybody in there. I know where the list came from. You know what I mean? Now I've been working to make sure all the data's in there, because I still don't use a CRM yet. I'm probably going to use Soho. Chances are, I'll probably use Soho. But I still haven't decided. And the reason I haven't done it, because I don't want to have a pile of different feeds, you know, CRM feed. And you know, I'm just using Get Response to its maximum. And I'm using it somewhat like a CRM, because I don't really have to have one yet. You know what I mean? Not for this. And I haven't, you know, as long as I got the data in there and taking the time to put in the right data and the address and the right email, if I can get that and I got it in here and I can pinpoint who opened it and stuff like that, I'm good. I mean, you know, that you know, I'm good. Because the most important thing that has to happen, I don't care what nobody says, to me, the most important thing that you have to do is you have to be able to measure those numbers. If you can't measure a campaign and you're not doing enough campaign, you won't make the money with this. You won't make no money with this. If you can't measure campaigns and see what's happening, if you're not going on a list and measuring campaigns, you can't make no money with this, because you don't know whether you're making money or you're close to making money or nothing. You know what I mean? The most important thing is the building the list. Still is the most important thing. And the quality of the list that you're trying to build. And that's it. All right. Folks, I appreciate you being here. I mean, you know, some of you may or may not have, I don't know if most of you probably already got this. You don't have this, but you may already have the gold mine, that part of it. But if you don't, just reach out to me and I'll get that in your hand. And that's it. Guys, I appreciate it. Just wanted to show you this real quick. This has been a good month. 2250 came from the startup loan. 2250, 3% commission. 75, you know, if he gets approved, it's gonna be 3%. That'd be half. I already done some other fees, but that would put me right at just under 5,000, because that's half of it right there. You know, and I did it with this. All I did was just, you know, I didn't even use this at first. I just took the guts of it because it was good content, and I just did that. And now I'm putting another one together. And I turn around and I used the postcard, because the first one I used it from the fly. The second one I did, I came to the postcard. And I got the postcard. I said, oh yeah, because see, the problem is, because see, the other one had information on it. I couldn't use it. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't figure out how to edit it. So what I did is, because I couldn't figure out how to edit it, I didn't use it. I just used the content. You see, sure what I mean? See, I couldn't get rid of this part right here. So I couldn't do anything with it. You know, I couldn't edit it right away. So that forced me to use the postcards, and then I just put it right in there and just put my information at the bottom. I didn't want to confuse them by putting this because I couldn't fix that. So I went to that's how I ended up with the postcard. And so because if you look at if you look at the postcard was easy. It didn't even ask for the information. So you know you see you're not even paying attention to it. See what I mean? And I just put that right in and stuck it right in the middle of my get response, and I put my email at the bottom, my name at the bottom, and boom, there it is. Got good responses too. But it came from a list of startup companies, which is something I don't normally do. And what's cool is in his book, he gives you a list of some of the businesses that you use for startup loans as well. You know, it's really a good piece. It really is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know what I expected, but you know, because I don't deal with new business much. But this was a great idea, and I'm glad I went when I went because I found a whole new way to get leads. And he talks about that in this whole thing, and nobody got this. Now one person got this, and it was that one piece that I got was so good that I just said I'm gonna just shut my mouth. You know? I said, I'm gonna just shut my mouth. I ain't gonna say nothing. You know, that is. All right, folks, that's it, man. Go off and do something. Let's see who's still here. Everybody knows who's still here. If you're interested in Craigslist Gold Mine, let me know. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Hey, Greg, when did you send this out?
I've sent it out a couple of times. I'll send it out again.
Oh, yeah, because I don't remember this at all.
I think I sent it out 2 or 3 times.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen this.
Huh?
Yeah, I've never got that either. We never seen
I'll send
this.
it to you. It's cool.
Oh.
I called and you know, when I first had it, you know, it wasn't until late in the day I started looking at it. And then I started going, because it wasn't even the videos, it was some of the stuff that was there. And I said, oh man, I went to one of the sites, I said, oh man, shit. And I was at work for 2 days just working on the list. That's how serious it was. That's how serious it was. And I mean, seriously, the data was so serious. I said, oh man, this is just the best right here. But I'll send it to you, and nobody got it. Nobody. I called Mike 4 days and got this 4 days ago, because you know he got married, because I was, you know, because I was asking how his marriage was. Because that's why we hadn't heard from him for a while, since he did funding, whatever that other funding freelancer was. He hadn't done anything. He got married and stuff like that. So, you know, I talked to him the other day, you know, and so he sent it to me. I said, man. And at first I didn't pay much attention to it. Then one day I just started looking. Let me look at this thing. And I started looking at this thing. I said, oh man. And I went to one of the sites and I said, oh man, boom. It was so much information. I started writing it down, man. And then really I started cutting and pasting. I said, oh, we're gonna cut and paste this thing all the way through. You know, it was like really consistent, you know. And then there's another site where, you know, if I didn't get the email, I could put the person's information in. And I started working on that. I started to do a video on that. You know, I didn't do it, but it was another video on another program where I can put the person's information in and spit out, you know, to tell me the various places you can find his email. And I went right through Grayson Electric and some other they popped right up. So even if you had the sites that didn't have the emails, I can cross-reference the name and still pick it up in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? And just because that way I like doing it that way, because I can target who I really want. I'm always going to do some of the other stuff, but the organic, I'm never going to stop doing organic. You know what I mean? Because I can pick out the industries I want, and you know, there's just a lot of advantages to do it. It is slower, no question about it. But you know, when you're trying to do exit planning and some other stuff, you know, the data, the quality of data is real deeply important. You know, and that's because I got all the information. You know, I know the president, I know the vice president, I know I got, you know, the emails, I got all the information. In some cases, I can their home address, which I'm not going to need, by the way, because I ain't going to be sending them nothing anyway. But it was all there. You know what I mean? And I didn't have to take every email, because I could see which ones were the owner's email, and I could see which ones weren't. And I could just pick and choose which one I want, and only pick the ones who I know is definitely the owner. That's him. You know what I mean? And I go to and it was 2022 information. So I ain't got to worry about verifying it. You know what I mean? It's sitting right there. I said, wow, man, this is deep. So it worked out pretty good, you know. And I said, I'm going to just keep my head low. But I'll send it to you. So just Just text me and I'll send it to you because I won't remember because I know it's. I think that was. I know Elsie's name. You know, I know Elsie's voice real well, and I thought that was Cal, but I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Cal. Yeah. So I'll send both of y'all. Yeah, I told everybody saw it. I sent it a couple of times. In fact, I just said, hey, well, ain't nobody paying attention to this thing. I think, you know, because it seemed kind of dull. Nobody was paying attention. I looked at that thing and I said, wow. I said, well, because, you know, I've never really paid much attention to new businesses. You know, but when I was paying attention to new businesses, existing businesses were there too. He just mentioned new. I'm saying, well, shit, there's existing businesses sitting here. And that's when I said, oh, yeah, this is going to work all day for me. It's going to work all day for me. You know, so it was real cool. Real cool. It just happens because all the time I was looking at, you know, CRMs and, you know, we were talking to Chanel and all of, we were looking at all that. I was looking at all that stuff right there because you got to have good data. But I tell you something, the real simple, let me tell you something, and I made up my mind because I got the gig and stuff like that. The simple 49 follow-up is what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I'm doing the 49 every day in the follow-up. That way I don't have to hire nobody. I can make sure I'm getting the right information. I'm having a good conversation because I'm not trying to get a bunch of them. You know what I mean? If I get 25, 30, 40, 70 people and you figure out what it is, assets under management, that's how many you got. Because otherwise it becomes, I'm not trying to do this forever ending thing. None of us should be. We should be focusing on the income that's going to continue to drive an income so we're not constantly looking for new business all the time. And so when you take Thrive, you take those two, FlexBuy and Thrive together, those two right there. Look, Thrive is so, I meant to tell you all this. Thrive got that $500 per sale till September 30th. I don't know if y'all knew that. So it's $100 as it go to $600 back, King. For the month of September, they've been doing the $600 again. That's the $100 plus the 500 bonus plus the 20%. Now, because see, I already got loaded my landing page again. Because I found out about it. I was just so busy at work. But we got what 10 days ago. $500 per sale. 10 sales is 5 G's, right? Is that right? Yeah. That's right? Yep. So that's why I said the list is the most important thing. Because if you ain't got enough people to send it out to, right? So when I found a little gold mine, whenever I find a nest of lists, I'm going for that. I don't care what nobody say. See, I don't have to have the world list. I just want a quality list that I can see it's quality. And I ain't got to do a lot of verification on and stuff like that. Just because I'm not going to get flagged anyway with my get response. I've been there too long. They're not going to flag me. But it's making a difference because I still pay high attention to how the quality of the lead always. Because if I didn't, my numbers wouldn't be 98, 99% deliverability. You see what I mean? I've been with them a long time, but I still got 98 to 99% deliverability. I pay a lot of attention to that. But see, now I've given up trying to do other stuff. I just say, hey, because if I got a good email list, I'm going through and I'm just doing I'm doing my campaigns and my 49 every day, and I'm doing the follow-ups with those because that's where I'm putting the information in. So I have the phone number. So when it responds and I'm at work, all I have to do is just contact them. It's 7 people. So I just contact 7 people. And he's already telling me, and the various campaigns are telling me what they have an interest in. You know what I mean? Which I've always had. I was a little dumb me. I didn't put all the data in, so I had a phone number, so I couldn't contact them. So I'm trying to go back to my data sources and try to remember where the hell is that phone number? Who is that company? That was so stupid, man. I did that. But I'm not doing it because that made my life now, shoot. I've been putting them in with all the data. I don't mind doing it because I'm not trying to do it forever. See, I'll do an M&A deal and shit, or I'll do a franchise deal. I make $30,000. So I'm paying a lot more time. I got to know that guy responded to something I did on franchise and I can't get his number and I can't get his, no, hell no. We're in a twilight. We're in the twilight now. And I'll be 65. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I got a good little gig. So if I can do that, and then I'm really honed in to this now. Because I don't have to, I'm really honed in because I can take my time and really pay attention and do this right. And that's what I'm doing. Because now it's easier to make money doing that. It's easier because I ain't, I'm not scattered all over the place. I mean, trying to eat every freaking day. I ain't got to be doing Zooms 1,000 times a day and none of that. I ain't got to do none of that. And so now all I got to do is take what I'm doing and do that again on outside of what I'm doing. And that'll put me at the number I want to be at. You know what I mean? All I got to do is keep doing what I was doing in addition to what I'm doing now. And I'll go well over 6 figures. I'll do that. I'll do that because I mean, shit, I'll definitely do that. See, what I'm doing now is in this time frame here, is the easy money. In this time frame here, with customer financing, business finance, and we're going into this busy area. That's why I say you should be building your list right now. Because if you're building your list right now and you're going into the holidays or you're not building your list, this is the time you better hurry up and do it. That's why, see, it's more important 49 every day than contacting them in this period of time here. Because it's more, you can get them faster because it's more intimate in this short period of time because there's a heightened awareness of financing right now. So you ain't got to be doing all this, this hardcore nothing because they need financing for inventory. They need financing because it's that time of year. The most important thing is just be consistent. That's how I ended up getting that guy. That's the only reason. It's the only reason. He's a startup. Well, he was a startup, but he actually been in business a year and some change. He wasn't completely startup. But it's been less than 2 years. So I mean, and it was a bevy of them bad boys there. So it wasn't, it's like, all I just took the contact, I just took the information because I couldn't wait because I couldn't edit it. So I just took the stuff, added some stuff to it, send that puppy straight out. But the reason I'm able to do it real fast is I'm always building a list. Remember, you gotta have a freaking audience, man. You got an audience, who the hell you send that to? Always focus on that audience. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. If you have any questions, just text me. If you want me to send the information to you, just text. I'll send it to you right away. All right. Let me see. How do I stop this thing? All right, guys.